Abra and preach.
Topic, the
Oh
Diddy
shit.
trial. The Diddy trial is not being televised, mostly because it's in federal court. In federal court, you're not allowed
This is the Diddy recap of the week. This shit.
Okay.
If you didn't read the transcripts on this shit was crazy.
to televise court cases. So that's what's going on right there.
That's because it's a RICO case. Ain't RICO federal? When it's cross borders, ain't it federal?
No, you can do it statewide. You can
Gotcha.
definitely do state level.
Gotcha.
The reason why it's federal is because it happened across state lines, not because of RICO state lines. RICO can happen just in the same state.
Gotcha.
But yes, if you aren't aware, Diddy's on trial now for trafficking, as well as racketeering, and that's what people have been focused on.
He has a
He's
RICO.
been in jail, sitting there, I think, a little over a year, and now he's going to basically face the music with the trial. There's been some explosive testimony from the part of Cassie, as well as some of the other people on behalf of the prosecution.
He described it as a fantasy he had where he would want to see me having sexual interactions with another male so he could watch, Cassie testified, noting she was 22 years old at the time. I was high, so I didn't feel much. Cassie went on to recall how there was a pool filled with baby oil during a particular freak-off at the Montage Beverly Hills. We used 10 bottles of baby oil, regular size.
There's been some interesting cross-examinations from the defense team, which actually features Brian Steele, who was Young Thug's lawyer and helped him get him off his RICO case. But different state, different prosecutor, different game.
Don't look good either.
I will say, as someone who's been following this for some time and then looking at all the transcripts coming out of court, basically the evidence presented, in my opinion, I think this is air shut. I think there's literally no chance to me that he gets off on these charges. And he's facing 30 years to life in prison. Now, before we get into what's been said in the court case, I think it's important to understand what the charges are and how they may meet the criteria. Go ahead.
No, it's just every word that you say sometimes is like every move you make. Just kidding.
You know what I kept thinking to myself?
No, it's because you said meat, and because it's Diddy, it's like I can't think other things
Bro,
but
it's
crazy shit.
Every move you make, yeah.
This is the
I will
Mateo
say,
in the group,
I thought it
guys.
was so funny that people
Bro,
were like, I don't
why?
think he
Nah,
did
nah,
it.
that's you.
I don't think he forced himself
That's
on her or
you
whatever.
for
I'm
sure.
like, you don't think the guy who said, I thought I told you that we won't stop. I thought I told you that we won't stop. Laughed at you say you don't care about no consent? I mean, come on. Come on. All right. Here's what I think is really important just to start. Sex trafficking is the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, obtaining, patronizing, or soliciting of a person for the purpose of commercial sex acts, in which the commercial act is induced by force, fraud, or coercion. So coercion, which I think is what they're really anchoring their case on, is threats of serious harm or physical restraints against any person, any scheme, plan, or pattern intended to cause a person to believe that failure to perform an act would result in serious harm or physical restraint against any person, or the abuse or threaten the abuse of the legal process. So basically what these three aspects of coercion are saying is, did you threaten the person to hit that person?
Take that, take that, take that.
Diddy 100% did that. In fact, the defense not even claiming that Diddy has not beat Cassie. We all saw the video. They're basically saying, yeah, he beat her. This is domestic violence, but it's not trafficking. So it is important to note that a lot of people are coming to defense of Diddy saying basically, well, this is just domestic violence. It's not what.
Yeah, they're saying that she wanted it too.
The problem is violence
Just
is
domestic
actually one of the
violence?
key criteria for trafficking. Basically, by you beating the person into submission, they're saying that that's one of the key elements to prove a trafficking case. Now, there's other ones you can substitute for it, but that's one.
But they're trying to flip it. They're trying to flip it, saying he didn't traffic her.
Yeah.
He was just violent.
But I mean, he was definitely engaging in trafficking. You know what? The funny elements of this case is the indisputable facts almost make it clear that there's no way he's going to be found not guilty. He admits to the fact that he was engaged in these freak-offs. The escorts involved admit to traveling across state lines to be paid to do that. That is trafficking.
To rub cum on his nipples.
Ventura said at the end of a session, Combs would sometimes instruct the escort to ejaculate on Ventura's body and then tell Ventura to put the semen on his chest and his nipples.
Nah, I'm telling you, this is some next level shit, y'all.
That is. Wait, so the paid escorts nut on her, and she rubbed it on him on Diddy.
Yeah. So basically, shit, I fucking cleared some shit. I don't know why I did that. So basically,
Which kink is that?
basically, Hold on, chat. Let me see something. I just fucked
This
up
man's just
some shit.
making up kinks as he goes now. Like, what the hell? What even is that considered?
Where's that boom? I had the boom, chat. I don't know where I put it, man.
The what?
There we go. Yeah, so basically, I don't know. Sorry, hold on a second. Yeah, basically, he would. Oh, there we go. Basically, he would the guy. I guess in the sex parties, the guys that were having intercourse with Cassie would ejaculate on her, and then she would use that and put it on him. This motherfucker a freak. How would you even know you like that shit? Like where would you, in what world would you be like, man? Hey man, hey.
What they did was wild. This dude was just sitting in the corner, just yeah, I want to party with you, just,
and which it sounds like a song.
That sounds
That's
like
what I'm saying, Jan's like.
I want to party with you and take you out shopping.
Oh my god. I appreciate Preach bringing the lightheartedness because I need that. Take that.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I need that. That also sounds like a song now.
I know it's a serious matter,
But yes.
and I'm not clouded the thing.
But Diddy's a funny part. He's just a funny person last night.
It's just
Also, what he was doing is
Definitely,
funny.
yes,
Him
man.
running down that fucking hallway in a Leatherwood bath.
Hold it, yeah.
You know what he noticed? He had his shoes on. That means that he wrapped the towel around and went, New York, we stomping a bitch out. I think another element to consider is this is a prosecution, but a federal prosecutor. The prosecution, 95 to 90% of their cases never go to court. Why? Because everyone pleads. The reason why they plead is if the feds bring in a case against you, it's already over. They have everything they need. So the odds of them bringing this case without a lot of evidence and everything from everything I've seen right now makes it very clear to me that they have a clear-cut case. It's not looking good for Diddy. What's more, the person who's in charge of this case, or one of the prosecutors, is also the person who got Ghislaine Maxwell. So they used to these high-profile trafficking type cases. That's just some notes I want to give you guys tidbit information. What people are trying to debate at this point is, was Cassie a willing participant? Is she somebody that was really heavily involved and not actually a victim in all this? And I think that's where things get a bit murky for people because they see these text messages from her to him, which is like, I love you, I want to be with you forever, all these different things. And for them, they can't understand how somebody can both love the person, organize some of the freak offs and also be, one of the prime victims.
Yeah, but that's your job. That was her job. That's what she had to do in order not to, in order to have her music released with wasn't released. That's the thing that you have to do. It's not.
It's. I was watching the part where, because the first 2 days I think it was like the prosecutor, and it was just like all of this shit, and then the last couple of days it's like she got cross-examined from P. Diddy's lawyers, and they basically was going that route to be like, well, if you could leave, why didn't you just leave? But again, this guy's the most powerfulest guy. You already know P. Diddy's murdered a bunch of people. She's probably scared for her life. The only thing that the hoes that they got in the case though was when she did leave, and the husband she's with now, she was with him, and her and Diddy were not together, and then she linked back up with Diddy like a couple years later, and she cheated on her husband, and they kind of asked her, well, have you cheated on Diddy? And she's cheated on Diddy with like a few other guys. So they were definitely poking holes in the case in that case.
it's very complex. When you're a victim of something, you can be the victim.
It's just to like
and in being in the victim,
muddy
you
the jury's
participate in some
thoughts,
things,
you know, because
that's
it's a
part of your
jury
task
there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that Stockholm syndrome?
No, because I don't really think falling in love with your abuser is Stockholm syndrome. But if he has that much power, and he had power, he had a lot of power. Diddy had a lot of freaking power.
Can you explain how?
Freaking power, freaky power. Anyways, what do you mean?
How did he have power? Like, give people context of who Diddy was, what time.
Diddy was a tycoon. He was a tycoon. We talking about Sean John clothing. We talking about
Billionaire.
a record deal. We are talking about that whole MTV. We're talking about like he could make or break your career. Basically, they made a TV show out of him.
Yeah.
Just of that, making the band. That was him.
Funny enough, 2 of the members of Danity Kane are actually testifying against Diddy. They're in this court case. Yeah.
I guess we're witnessing I Need a Girl Part 3.
Yeah. You also have to remember, Cassie, I remember when her first song came out, she was super young, and she came in the industry at a time where SoundCloud and all these different things didn't exist like that.
No.
So you either come in through a record label, that's it, and they signed her to like 10 albums. So basically, she was locked in with Diddy, period, from a career standpoint. She's also like 19 or 20 when they met. The dude was, what, probably already in his 40s?
30s, but yes, it doesn't matter.
Late 30s? Okay, so he's the most powerful person in hip-hop, which is a fact. There was nobody richer than him.
As a matter of fact, Diddy was Jay-Z before Jay-Z was Jay-Z.
100%.
You're talking about a billionaire, the biggest person in hip hop, incredible history of violence. Incredible history of violence. And this dude is managing your career.
That's been noted.
You're talking
too.
about definitely already setting the table for something that's really off.
And those are,
you may not take that seriously, but for a jury, those are factors they're going to consider. They're going to consider those factors because they're going to say, well, why did she leave? And then they're going to play all this stuff like, okay, I understand. Right? So those are all things to consider in the dynamic that's at play here. So when you're reading these text messages and she's talking about, I want to make love to you and I really love this person, it's very possible to love the person that beats you every day. That Stockholm Syndrome is what we mentioned earlier. Think about the relationship between a lot of streetwalkers and their pimp. You know, like when a pimp has a girl, the women go on his behalf and solicit customers.
That's a bottom bitch.
Right? They'll go solicit other girls. That's the bottom bitch.
Yeah, but sometimes it's the number one.
The bottom bitch is the one who recruits other women.
Yeah, but oftentimes that's also the number one.
Sure.
But in order for her to go get other girls, there is a
right.
She's been abused, so that's also her job. Her job is, well, she was abused, but she's also participating in a whole the whole shit.
Absolutely. Yeah. So they use women to go recruit other people. Why? Because women are generally disarming, so you're much more open to other women, right?
Isn't that what Tate did?
And then you have to think, these ladies, they're committing crimes on the pimp's behalf, right? When they go to the street and they do this stuff, but they're also getting beaten. They're having their money taken away from them, right? If you think that what Diddy's doing is okay, that means you think what pimps are doing is okay, right? Because Diddy is essentially going around getting escorts, bringing them around, or she's getting the escorts, and they're doing commercial sex acts. It's the same kind of concept. That's why he's getting charged in the same way a pimp would get charged. Now,
because he did that.
He did that.
Did that.
Yeah, we gon'
I'm sorry.
I will say, watching so many people go out of their way to try to defend Diddy to the utmost degree, if you're just doing it from an analytical standpoint, in a legal standpoint, that's fine. Because I think like arguing what defense there is, some of the evidence being, that's fine. But you have to remember, nothing is being contested about the fact that this man beats women repeatedly. And I'm not talking about a slap in the face. The dude's like launching on her and dragging her across the room. It is foul what he did. And he also did that to his baby mom. Kim Porter.
The one that's not there no more?
The one that passed away.
How?
What you tell us?
I don't know.
But I think it's a medical thing. I don't even think there's a idea that he might have. You think that's? I mean,
the guy was in so many things.
Yeah,
his hands in so many. Pause.
She like it's like an overdose kind of thing, but his hands was in a lot of things. There was like because she was apparently putting out like a tell-all book. Bro, if you watch like Vlad TV, they interviewed his bodyguard like years ago, and like, they were talking about like the shit Diddy is like a lot of shit. There's like 5 people that like there's a picture of like five people, and it's like Diddy and Kim Porter and like 3 other people, and they all died. Like 2 from suicide, 2 from overdose, and Diddy, and it's like people were like, yo, these are the only people who kind of knew everything Diddy was doing. Diddy's not to play with, bro. I'm telling you. This guy's not no fucking... This guy's a beast, man. He's not no fucking angel.
Unpause. I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He would
to be able to blow up a car and having no repercussion.
Yeah, he blew up Kid Cudi car and no one cared. Like he would do a bunch of shit and just get it swept under the rug. He beat up J. Cole. He beat up Drake. Remember that fight he got in with Drake? Like he did mad shit, bro. He killed Suge Knight's bodyguard in Atlanta. There was some fight, and then his bodyguard killed Suge's bodyguard. That's how the beef with him and Suge started. That trickled into the Tupac shit. Like, yeah, he was on some mob shit.
Nothing happened. You blew up. You know, that's the thing with comedy. And that's why I like, comedy. Sometimes you can't say nothing about certain person. You can't go out and be like, this person knew this.
Up slick.
But jokes. You can only joke about it. Okay, you can only laugh about it. You can only make jokes about it.
Yeah.
And there was a lot. Yo, I remember Cassie just came out 2 or 3 years after the first song, the first single. There's some people that we were having this conversation. Like, yo, where is she? Where is she? And I remember there was a dude. And it's a dude from Montreal. Like, had nothing to do with people in New York and everything. So, oh, Cassie, she Diddy's slave. Back then.
Yeah.
The timing is impeccable.
Is that thunder? Back then.
But back then, there was already jokes about that. Yeah. About the fact people were, if you would listen to interviews or people like that, you would hear stuff about that.
Well, the guy who's in jail right now for Tupac's murder says Diddy paid him.
Yeah.
And that was a common thing even at that time. They say even Diddy was the one behind Biggie potentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's not that crazy because he was beefing with Suge Knight and those guys over there. So when I say he's had a violent history,
he shipped him
this is not
$100K
something
like
that people
a couple months later.
There's a reason why people are terrified of him. It's not just because he's powerful. It's because he abuses that power.
Because he's crazy. That's because he's crazy.
And you can see from that.
So it gets really deep. So like Biggie was planning on leaving Bad Boy. So Diddy owned all his publishing, right? All of Biggie's publishing. So do you know, like, I don't know if you know your hip hop history. Biggie owned a group called Junior Mafia.
Yeah.
Right? So Junior Mafia, I think Junior Mafia was under Bad Boy, but Biggie would write for Junior Mafia, but no. But Biggie couldn't get his publishing because P. Diddy owned it. So he made Junior Mafia say they wrote it, and then Junior Mafia would pay Biggie.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's like when you own if you own their publishing, like I can't write for you without Puffy getting that money. You get what I'm saying? So you're my man, so I'm gonna say, yo, Mateo, you got signed to a deal. You're gonna say, well, Mateo wrote it, and then your publishing that you get, you just give to me because you know I wrote it. Yeah. And this is Junior Mafia, like Little C saying this shit on like they said this shit out of their own mouth. So like at that time before Biggie died, Biggie was planning on leaving Bad Boy. Bro, just even think about it like this. Mace was on top of his career, Mace was like the biggest artist at the time, and just left and said he's going to be a pastor. You know some fucked up shit happened. And Mace from Harlem too. You know some fucked up shit happened where it's like, this is crazy.
Unhinged.
When I watched him, that girl in that hotel lobby, it told me everything I needed to know about him. The fact that he ran out there in a towel and her like that, you already know he's so used to it.
He's comfortable.
He looked at that security guard and said, here's some money. That means he's paid off dozens of people for his fuckery before. That's like in the psyche. That's not something, you don't somebody like that in broad daylight for the first time.
Not in your hotel, in the lobby.
In the lobby.
You're gonna launch some things at her in the lobby.
Launching vases and everything.
In the lobby, like being, you know what, whatever. If they come up, I'll just pay them off. The level of comfort and the level of confidence that you have to do that, even in a hotel.
And the worst part, I think he has to testify. He has to testify with all these different people corroborating this evidence. This is one of the few times where he's going to have to the defendant, if he doesn't testify, all we're hearing is her side of the story and everyone else's. And we don't know what he's thinking. If he doesn't testify, I literally cannot see a way that it comes over this. Because not only can they not prove, they already cross-examined her, they didn't catch her in a single lie. I think they tried at one point with one point of the testimony, but Cassie was apparently such a good witness. She just laid out everything she did. She even laid out the bad parts that make her look little bad, and she laid out all the good. So when I'm a juror seeing that, I'm gonna just think, okay, well, she's being honest. She's not the perfect victim.
And Diddy
she definitely played into it to some degree.
No way he testifies.
But definitely she didn't lie about it.
I don't agree with this. There's no way Diddy testifies. Because they're gonna, if Diddy testifies, that's gonna hurt him more because they're gonna rip him apart, bro.
Yeah.
They're gonna literally tear him into pieces.
Received the threats, like he threatened her to release the tapes if she ever left him. So all these different
they're gonna ask some shit like, so why did you blow up Kid Cudi's car? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna go into some shit that just is out of scope. Yeah, they're just gonna say some shit and then he's gonna be fucked. They're gonna just they're gonna show how bad of a person he is, and he's gonna have to answer those questions.
To make it very clear to me, like, oh, he's so fucked. I literally can't see any way that he gets off on this. So I think the best he can do is maybe mitigate his sentence. That's about it.
And he's not credible.
No.
And when he's going to be on the stand, he's really not going to be credible. It's going to be a grill session.
The Kid Cudi stuff was a good point, by the way. Because people were like, why did she just leave? She was dating other dudes. But you saw what happened when she dated other dudes.
If your car explodes, if you're being dangled off a hotel room balcony.
He was so mad that she was dating somebody else that he blew up her car. Not her car, Kid Cudi's car. That was the person she was dating. And when Kid Cudi and her sat down with Diddy, and Kid Cudi's like, yo, what about my car though? Diddy said, what car? Pretending to not know, even though he threatened to blow it up before. So you have to think this man, his history is going to tell a horrible story. The witnesses corroborating all the escorts that were involved and saw him beat her, they're all going to be there. And it's going to be very hard for you to convince me, if I'm just saying that I'm the average juror, that this dude wasn't in complete control of her life when he could threaten her with death, when he could threaten her career, when he could threaten her life. I'm going to lay out most of this stuff, and then afterwards, I'll be the diddler's advocate.
Oh, and stuff was laid. You want to be the Diddy's advocate?
The diddler's advocate.
No, she dated the Ryan Leslie. There's a story, Ryan Leslie's talking about it too. And this, guys, this is what I'm trying to say. This is not like just coming out now. These are interviews that you see 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Ryan Leslie talked about it. And then Ryan Leslie had like a crazy career and it was just gone. It was ruined. And he was like, yo, the worst thing I did was meet Cassie because they fell in love. And then, Diddy just came back and was just like, you know what I'm saying? There's a point where in a transcript, he didn't like the way she was looking at Chris Brown. Because she was with Chris Brown. She was like talking to Chris Brown and he didn't like the way she was looking at Chris Brown, and he like beat her up and broke her phone and shit like that. This guy's crazy. Yeah, he's a really talented producer. Because remember, Diddy's like from the 90s, like the 90s, the shit that's like when all the music shit happened and like, Suge Knight is pulling up to fucking the record label and beating the record label exec. Like, Hicks, appreciate that 3 months. Like, these guys are from like that mob style era. And then he's the only one that survived that era and became a multi-billionaire. Like, and he's a billionaire where he's just like, some shit's just happening. He's paying you off, blah, 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 blah. Like,
just from the first 2 days of testimony, you've heard a lot from Cassie, you've heard a lot from other people, but I think one of the most important things is that everything Cassie said during her 1.5 day testimony is being corroborated by other witnesses. You have the members of Danity Kane, which is his own band, who left, who said, I watched Diddy beat her so many times. In fact, one of the girls said there was a time where Diddy got mad because his food wasn't there. Then he grabbed a skillet and swung it to hit Cassie's head, and she hit the floor, and then he beat her. It's like, damn. And so he's doing this in front of other people. And guess what happened? He pulled in Don Richards the next day into his office and he said, listen, what you saw there wasn't violence, it was passion. And then he says, don't tell anybody because where I'm from, people who tell disappear. Now, this plays into the narrative that the prosecution is putting out there, which is that people were terrified of this man. And Don Richards never spoke about this till this day, but it's corroborated by other people. The security guard at the hotel where you see the video of Diddy beating the girl, they released the full unedited version. I'm not going to play it. The first time was already too much for me. I don't need to see that shit again. If you watch it, after Diddy's beating on her, the only reason the beating stopped is you see the elevator door open and one of the staff come out, which is the man in question. At that point, Diddy grabs her stuff, goes back to the room. Some time goes by, and then you see the hotel personnel talk to Diddy. According to his testimony, he says, Diddy offered me a wad of cash to get rid of the tape. Mm-hmm. The dude kept a copy, but apparently the one at the hotel disappeared the next day. So Diddy thought he was in the clear because they got rid of it, not knowing that the man had kept a copy, and he refused Diddy's money. He said, I don't want your money. Now,
appreciate you,
with all this in mind, they're setting the table for Diddy being essentially a horrible person who people, puts the fear of God into them and threatens their life. You also have to remember there's also an escort who was involved at these freak-offs who testified. I watched Diddy her so bad. Afterwards, he was asking me to sleep with her and he's like, I couldn't even get it up. I was terrified. So he's even scaring the male performers and ruining the freak-offs.
Don't say it like that, bro. Don't say it like
my
that,
bad,
bro.
my bad.
I think saying some foul shit, but you can't say that shit like that.
But you know what's crazy?
Refused the money and the tape disappeared. That was a little, yeah, because that guy, the security guy, is not gonna be like, I accepted the money. Yeah, of course, I got rid of it. Like, no. He made it seem like, oh, I didn't accept the money. I just took a copy of the tape. No, you took a copy of the tape. You accepted the money, and then you're like, well, later on, I'm going to extort this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Stop playing.
The freak off.
This is why here, like, Your Honor, this testimony about freak offs is unacceptable. It's like weird hearing this in fucking live open court.
Yeah.
And you have the judge going, can you tell me more about this freak off?
That never actually came to light.
Objection
like
overruled. I want to hear about
hotel.
this freak off.
I want to hear about it.
Yeah, they
Insane
introduced the
amount.
whole aspect of baby oil. Apparently, the baby oil was laced with drugs.
Yep.
He had a thing with making Cassie doll herself up in all oil. He needed her to be shiny at all times while he watched her perform.
Bro, I keep pausing it, but there's a in the transcript, there's a point where she was like, she would get frequent UTIs because that's how much like he like said keep going. She had to get UTIs and she would get like he would make her give oral sex for so long she would get blisters in her mouth. She would like, yo, the medication like that she had to and like frequent she would get frequent STDs or STIs, and she's like how she became immune to the medication. Like, bro, this motherfucker, like, there's no defending this, bro. This guy is like, you know what I'm saying?
So yeah,
That's
me just seeing
crazy.
the millioning elements of this, I have no idea how Diddy gets off on any of these charges. Truly, I don't. Even if they somehow manage to convince me that Cassie was in on it and everything, they still have to contend with the fact that there's a bunch of escorts who he's flying out to be paid to. You can't do that. It's illegal. That's trafficking. I wonder how they're going to contend with the witness testimonies of other people around saying they witnessed the beatings. And these are all unrelated people. These are not people that all have something to gain. At one point, they even brought up the fact that Cassie got a $20 million settlement from them and then $10 million from the hotel. I'm like, why would you bring that up? All that tells me is that she's already got her money, so there's no reason for her to testify. None of this benefits her in any type of way. It's like actually super embarrassing for her because all these texts are being revealed in real time and she's married with kids.
Yep.
So that's traumatizing her family. There's really nothing for her to gain from doing a lot of this testifying that she's doing right now.
What I'm glad is that we don't hear about Diddy's kids.
Why the
They don't say
hotel
shit now.
paid the 10 mil? So the hotel she sued the hotel because they got rid of the tapes. And she won it in court. So she got 10 mil from the hotel in like 2016. Think about it. They covered the shit up, right? And then she got another 20, 30 mil from Puffy. What, they said 2023, so recently. But I don't know.
good. They were probably informed to shut the fuck up because it's not looking good for them or whatever.
No, Diddy's.
I'm defending my. Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah. I think it's over for Diddy. I feel very confident about that. And I think as a prosecution's case, it's already super strong now. It's only going to get better with every witness. I don't see how the defense is going to come back from it.
It's not looking good, bruv.
Good. Actually, it's looking great. It's looking great.
For him. I'm talking about for him.
Yeah.
It's not looking good.
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying. Keep his ass in jail.
Diddy's in jail
I
right
for the
now.
life of me, don't get why people go out of their way to defend people like this. I'm not saying you should lie on them. I'm not saying you should do whatever, but like, I've seen folks saying this dude's innocent. Or they're minimizing the fact that he was beating her all the time. It's
Bro,
too
I think
weird for me.
that's a culture. The culture is weird. In that
Yo.
sense. There's a lot of things that I love about this culture, whether it's hip hop or black culture. But there's a lot of things that I'm like, yo, we got to do better, and that's one of them.
Yo. And also, I think it's unfair when people look at a girl like that and say, well, she was sleeping around. She's like, if the person's not the perfect victim, doesn't change the fact that they're still the victim in this crime. I don't really care whether she's sleeping around or not. Did he beat her ass? Did he force her at any point to have sex with prostitutes when she didn't want to?
What does that mean? What does that mean? She was sleeping around. So sleeping around is justifiable. It justifies getting to a pulp. Is that what you're saying? That's weird.
Because they're trying to make her less sympathetic as much as
of course,
possible, right?
but-
They're going like, oh, she's doing this for her career. She's doing this for this and that. It's like,
You think she was not? You think he was not sleeping around?
if
What
that's
are we
your,
talking about?
if that's
They're
your
not gonna
boss,
set it super high. He's a
and if
million. He's
you
a
didn't come
billionaire.
into work the way he wanted, he beat
I was about to
you.
say, so
Nah.
is there no
Okay.
bail
And
because
he
it's a
forced you to
RICO
work?
case?
No
That's
bail.
trafficking as well. That's labor.
He's got two. It's like when they locked up the
Epstein?
Epstein, the Maxwell one.
Yeah.
They got too much money. Yo, Big Style, appreciate the 23. Thank you so much, brother. They got too much money that they can disappear. You know what I'm saying? Like Diddy gets set free. Like they could take his passport, everything, and he'll just take a private jet and he's gone. He's gone to an island that you can't. What'd you call that shit again?
Yeah. No extradition shit.
Yeah, no extradition shit. He'll just fucking go to Brazil, have a kid, and then there's no extradition. Like, that's it. Like, the average Joe, or, you know, maybe you have a couple mil, whatever, they'd be like, all right, cool, but he's just too rich. He's just too rich, brother. They're not letting this guy out. Did you see, remember when they had some shit where, what's his name, Russell Simmons, he went to, like, Thailand or some shit. Because they couldn't extradite him, but they didn't put no charges on him. But he thought they were going to charge him.
Trafficking.
I don't know what 9-to-5 job that you go in, and then your job is your boss is like, yeah, I got reports to fill in, and he's like, nah, you gonna do these freak offs, and think it's okay, and if you don't do them, I'll beat your ass. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know how you can justify that.
No,
but I'm a
he's just too
secretary.
rich.
Yeah, you're gonna secretary this dick now. You know that, or else what? I gotta go home to my husband and kids. You got a husband? Well, here's a bus pass because he's gonna need it right tomorrow. You know what I mean? That's great. I don't know where you think it.
That's
Go to
great.
jail.
Go to jail. Go to jail.
Go to jail.
Hey,
Little
sorry.
bizarre.
Ain't good. All right.
Oh, he's gonna have some freak offs in jail though.
Do you notice his hair is gray now?
Yeah, all gray.
Because he can't dye
You can't
it.
dye him.
Yeah.
All his hair is gray.
That's
And
true. I are.
You want to have a separate conversation? What do you think it is about these dudes and their like really weird sexual proclivities at that income level?
I don't think it's the income level.
Tell me.
I think it was always there. Money don't change you. It extrapolate what you were already. It doesn't change you. You was a freak. You're just too broke to be.
Apparently his parents were like that too.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. Apparently in his family that was like a thing.
Yeah.
It makes sense too.
It makes sense. It
guess.
makes sense. But it's not like suddenly you have money and then you had that.
Gotcha.
You were like that.
Talk that.
A piece of shit but without money and then becomes a piece of shit, you were like that.
Talk that.
Yeah, exactly. People don't understand. Like,
Don't look at me like that.
All right.
money's
It's like
not
a power thing, right? It's not the money.
Money's not the
itself,
root
but-
of evil, because that will change your mind of. That will change your concept on how you look at money. The people's decisions is what makes them evil or not. I know great people that have a lot of money, and I know fucking drug dealers and shitty people that have money. I know shitty people that are poor. And I know great people that are poor. You know what I'm saying? So if you're an asshole when you're poor, when you're rich you become an asshole. It's just what it is. Sometimes it's just power dynamics. Like a lot of these like guys that are into these like weird sex shit is just a power dynamic. It's like Puffy's been around for so long and doing fuck shit for so long that he's almost like a kid that's never been told no. You know what I'm saying? So he could like he said, he could just he could just go beat Cassie up in the middle of the hotel and just be like, who gonna find out?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I'm saying? Is you could say, and you know, you could say love is the root of evil, because love makes people kill people. You know what I'm saying? It's just the people's decisions and the way they look at shit. You know? Well, the sex and the kinks are drugs too. Yeah, he's just a freaky motherfucker, but he's also an abuser. He's also done, and I'm sure, as this was the first week, I think this trial is gonna go on for a while. You're gonna see a lot of shit that comes to light about Diddy. You get what I'm saying? And the dude is just not a good person at all.
Yeah. Now people feel like he's actually gonna be stopped. They can come out with all the shit.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen. People are gonna come out. You're gonna hear a bunch of people have stories, and they're gonna be real stories. But why would you come out and say this shit and this motherfucker's blowing up motherfuckers' cars? And,
exactly.
Ain't a police report in sight. You know what I'm saying? Or how many people he got disappeared and no one knows? Or, hey, did you see that guy when he talked back to Diddy? Yo, he dead. Like,
really smoked that. Actually made that makes sense.
yeah. So
Bieber got done dirty.
What? You say?
Or just talk about like the whole Bieber and Diddy shit.
Yeah.
Like Bieber is like going through another, like, he's looking like a junkie when he's out in public now, and I think it's because he's scared that of all the shit that's gonna come out in this case relating to what he's, what he did with Diddy or what got done to him. I honestly, it doesn't even matter if he did it or it got done to him. I mean, he was a kid, so it's like, either one is still really bad.
Yeah, bro. Damn, that's why, because I seen a clip and I'm like, yo, homie's fucked up, but because he's been clean and like doing his thing, got married,
yeah,
to the
he's
church,
doing good for a while.
And then I was like kind of confused what was going on. And him coming into the industry as a kid, like he probably thought that shit was normal or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.